Okay, I'm in Montana and I just couldn't help myself. I had to film because it's so beautiful. And how cool is this? All right, step 10, troubleshooting, common sewing mistakes and how to fix them. We are going to focus on some hypotheticals. 1, what happens if your knot gets caught? 2, what happens if you run out of string before the end? 3, what happens if your client comes in with a busted seam? And 4, what happens if you have nothing to tie it to in the end? What to do if the knot gets caught? Give it a little wiggle. This is the bane of my existence, so if this happens to you, just know it's a common issue. Basically, the knot is bigger than the space that it needs to go through. So that's why you don't want your knot to be too big. Think of the song WAP. Luckily, hair is pretty malleable, so if you wiggle it long enough, it'll just go through. Just check in with your client and ask if it's uncomfortable. What happens if you run out of string before the end? I got you. In this example, I had a client come in with a busted seam and she was due for a mini tightening. Luckily, her clothesline looked healthy and unaffected, so I went ahead and tightened the clothesline. More on extension maintenance later. After that, she was ready for mending. This can also apply if you are sewing a fresh row and run out of upholstery thread too soon, or if you work with an assistant and you are connecting your strings in the middle. Start with creating a new upholstery thread string and needle. In this case, I did a double strand knot because her clothesline didn't have a lot of string left over to tie it off to. Go in once, tie your old string with your new string, keep going to the right with the normal pattern, down and up through the middle. Tie it off at the end. In this case, I tied it off to itself. What if you have nothing to tie it to? In this case, with Jera, I panicked because I couldn't find my weaving thread. I was so nervous and I just winged it. I didn't double back like I was supposed to. I tied it off to her excess weft strings. I was lucky in this circumstance, so you may not have this luxury if you previously cut too much string. If all else fails, add a new mini string and tie it off to itself if you can, even if it's just a little bit. Next up, cutting.